Hi, and welcome. Hey, listen, it's time to go get some ice cream and some really, really, really good fresh baked donuts, which means Washtenaw dairy. Yeah, I say this all the time, but this is so iconic. It's been around since 1938. Whenever you go there, you feel like you're walking into a Norman Rockwell painting. This easily should have been, a cover of the Saturday Evening Post when I was a kid. So it is a wonderful place. It is known and loved by Ann Arborites and visitors for decades and decades. So some background information, as I said, it all started in 1938. It is located at 602 South Ashley in Ann Arbor, just off the campus. Let's go with the current owner, who is Mary Jean Rabb, and take a look at her uncle. So Doug Rabb worked at the dairy for about 75 years. He and Jim Smith started scooping cones while in high school, and they bought the business from the previous owner in 1973. The previous owner had just shut down what had been the city's last working dairy. So the new owners kept scooping generous cones using ice cream from other dairies. Not today. Today it is produced by Washtenaw Dairy, but also won regular customers year-round with coffee donuts and the city's first lotto machine. They could often be found behind the counter, pouring coffee, or in early morning, sitting with the regulars, mostly retired guys, who joked that their table was the waiting room for Mulig's funeral home. And I can appreciate that humor. So Mary Jean Rabb, she was plenty busy in 2016 when her uncle Doug told her he needed help at the dairy. Retired from a successful corporate career, Mary Jean was on several nonprofit boards and running a small business giving tours of the city. But Rabb knew that the dairy was facing a once-in-a-generation crisis. Doug's younger partner, Jimmy Smith, had died that January. Doug himself was 90 and waging his fourth battle with cancer. I started helping the business in an informal way, Mary Jean recalls. A few months later, I bought half the business. Her uncle died later that year, leaving her sole owner of the 87-year-old ice cream shop and West Side neighborhood hangout. As I said, Norman Rockwell could have painted this picture, and he probably should have. Iconic indeed. Again, it's hard for me to overemphasize what a joy it is every time you go into the dairy. And Mary Jean's not only an outstanding business person, she's also a wonderful soul, as is Monique, Johnny Boyer, and everybody associated with the dairy. So as I said before, I would ask for memories and reflections, remarks from people when I posted these photos originally at the Ann Arbor Townie site. For the Washtenaw Dairy, I received over 700 responses. And within the responses, there were so many quotes and memories. So I'll just mention a couple. One of the persons said, "Perfect. As a townie who lived on 5th Street in the mid-1950s, it was a great part of my early childhood." Somebody else said, "I have fond memories of my dad taking us for ice cream." Somebody else said it very succinctly and correctly. "This is Ann Arbor." Many people said, a favorite of mine. As always, I put things in perspective. So while in 1938 this was opening as the dairy, what was happening in the world? Well, what overshadowed everything else in 1938 was Hitler marching into Austria, and then political geographical union of Germany and Austria was proclaimed. The Munich Pact, this was Britain, France, and Italy, agreed to let Germany partition Czechoslovakia. And we all know that was just an appeasement that continued right into World War II. Also in that year, Nazis destroyed Jewish shops, homes, synagogues in Kristallnacht, named Kristallnacht because of the sound of breaking glass. There was 20,000 to 30,000 Jews who were sent to concentration camps. So that was beginning of a horrific, well, I'm sure continuation, but on an international front, that was quite a year. So having a place like Washtenaw Dairy over all the years gives us a respite, gives us an oasis, an opportunity to step back and to reflect on older, calmer, more harmonious times. So we're all so grateful for Mary Jean, for Johnny, for Monique, as I said, and others associated with this iconic spot in Ann Arbor. All right, thank you so much for tuning in, and stay tuned.